a fine line between disturbing and whatever the hell this was. I saw things that cannot be unseen. I'm going to be thinking about this for days. I'm pretty sure this is the second movie this year that made my stomach turn. The third in recent years that I can remember. It's a mystery movie Monday at AMC where the only clues we get are the rating and the approximate runtime, unless it's a horror movie. In that case, they do tell it's a horror movie by calling it a Scream Unseen instead of a Screen Unseen. So we all knew it was going to be a horror movie, rated R, approximately an hour and 44 minutes. There are a couple of films that fit that, criteria that come out in the next couple of weeks, but everybody and their mama, myself included, were hoping it would be Bring Her Back. And I imagine AMC was anticipating that hope because they were adding screens left and right across the country for this mystery showing. Directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, if I'm pronouncing their last name correctly, they directed the 2023 horror film Talk to Me. This stars Sally Hawkins, Billy Barrett, and a whole host of other people. There is no way to really talk about this movie without spoiling it, so consider this your spoiler alert. However, great film. Great film. Andy and Piper are step siblings being raised by their dad. Piper is legally blind. Well, when they get home from school, they find their father deceased on the bathroom floor, having fallen out the shower, and now they need to go into foster care. Older brother Andy is upset and, scared because it looks like he and his sister are going to be separated and he is wanting to care for her. Well, he's going to be 18 in a couple of months. And if he can prove himself to be trustworthy and reliable and, a all-around good dude, he'll be able to obtain guardianship. He just has to, bide his time. They end up in the care of this woman named Laura who, pure coincidence as it would seem, had a blind daughter named Kathy, but she passed away. She drowned in the backyard pool. And also in this house is a kid named Ollie who is selectively mute. Odd little boy, as it would seem. Doesn't talk, kind of just lingers and looks. One eye is dilated and, can't quite figure him out. I don't want to talk about no more. That was nasty. I don't want to eat food ever again. I just want to drink water for the rest of my life. Like, who even said we needed food? Like, Jesus? He said, man shall not live on bread alone. And I don't even like bread like that. The thing about this movie is you can tell where this is going. Like, the end from the beginning. It's just a matter of how we get there. It's those little in-between details. Like, this woman is trying to bring back her dead daughter, hence the title. But it's like, okay, what do these kids have to do with it? What is this boy's role in this? Ollie? And how do we connect these dots? How do we get from point A to point B? That's basically what this movie is, getting from point A to point B. Ultimately, if I have to say what is the theme here, this is all about just the complicated nature of grief. You have children who have lost their father, and as we find out, had different relationships with the same man. Piper loved her father, her stepfather, and, adored him and missed him greatly, was talking about how, certain items still smelled like him. And we later find out that the older boy, Andy, did not have a good relationship with his father. It was abusive. And enter in this woman who is mourning her, deceased child. Someone whom she loved greatly and obviously cannot let her go. Clearly. The trailer makes it seem like this movie is going to be very ritual heavy, satanic. There are elements of it. It's kind of there in the background. We're anticipating something just going awry and being wrong. We're seeing different things that if you're familiar with horror or, if you've seen at least the Skeleton Key, you'll be able to recognize certain different elements that, okay, that's supernatural or that's something. But the ritual in this film is just the breakdown of relationships, the breakdown of identity. I just remembered something. Oh, it's hot. It's hot. Now, how does this compare to the movie Talk to Me, their previous film? I can't answer that because even though I did see the movie, I did do a little review on it. I'll post it in the caption if you're interested. I wasn't that big of a fan of the film. It wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't for me. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I just didn't vibe with it. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand where people are coming from. I can see the greatness in it. I recognize what makes that movie work. It just didn't work for me. Bring Her Back works for me. I just didn't think Talk to Me was scary at all. People were like, oh my God, it's the scariest movie all year. And I'm like, no, No, it's not. This is a different kind of horror in that it's not necessarily scary. It's just very disturbing. It makes you uncomfortable. I was so uncomfortable and, just confused. You have this woman who seems like such a sweetheart, who seems very welcoming, but from the moment they meet her, she clearly just is not interested in having the boy around. And, she goes quick to work to disrupt their relationship. Sally Hawkins is incredible in this movie. My goodness, that woman is just, she's a gift. She's a pure gift from God. Just absolute talent. She was vulnerable and mean and evil and conniving and relatable in a way because she's brokenhearted, but she's twisted. Everything is twisted. Billy Barrett's character, Andy, if I'm getting his name correct, starts off being the strong big brother figure, and as he starts to deteriorate from the inside out in a way, we start to see him become a shell of himself, and this new kind of strength comes out of him. Very interesting how they wrote him. The camera work was interesting. I'd love to hear them talk about why they chose to do certain things with the lens going in and out of focus. Now, the young lady in here, Piper, is blind, can't see, and oftentimes we're seeing things through her perspective where, she only sees, shadows and shapes and some light, but it's kind of hard to really portray that on camera and still be able to see things. So every now and then the lens will just go out of focus and then sharply come into focus as she starts to perceive the environment. That was very clever. It was also frustrating. I think it was supposed to be frustrating. I think for those of us who can see, even people like me who why it's a shame that I have to pay money just to be able to see out of my own eyeballs, but that's neither here nor there. But for those of us who can see, not being able to see clearly, and I guess, me being me, having to wear glasses, I can relate to that. Not being able to see things clearly is so frustrating, and I think we were meant to be frustrated, to kind of feel her fear when she's in this dire situation and she can't see. She's trying to feel her way through this very new environment. Jonah Wren Phillips, if he's been in anything else, I can't find his resume. Like, I believe this is his first feature. He is one of those child actors that when you see him, you know something's up. He has that kind of presence. You know what to expect. A talented young man who says almost nothing. Nothing. And yet it's his face, body language. He was a head-to-toe kind of actor. Like, he knew what to do with his body. Very skilled. And then Sora Wong, who plays Piper, who I believe they had a little feature at the beginning. I believe she actually is visually impaired. Just our sweet, beautiful center. She kind of grounds us a little bit in the middle of all these disturbances around her that she can't see, that she is struggling to perceive. She's what keeps us grounded, and I think she was wonderful. That was nasty, though, like unnecessarily nasty. It did not have to look like that, but it did. Fantastic. Great movie. That was good, though. That was good. I can't. That was good. I don't know what I was expecting. I thought this would be another just dumb, we've seen it before kind of, possession horror film. No, that was different. It was original in a sense. And I don't know, it was well crafted. Like, beautifully put together, great casting. The camera work was just beautiful. Good, for how nasty it was. But good job.